Shut up and poetry, y'all. We are your hosts. I am Salar Khan. This is the beautiful and talented Essie Says. And we're back
I don't know what that was.
to bring you some awesome slam poetry for the week.
Yeah, we're here to bring you some legitimate slam. This week's feature is kind of a big deal. So, you know how we went to the Texas Grand Slam like a couple weeks ago and we were talking about that? Our feature this week won second place out of 42 poets. He's kind of a big deal. Constant face at the Austin Poetry Slam. He's just an amazing poet. So, ladies and gentlemen, Christopher Michael.
I am the camel's back. 3 straws beyond its breaking point, attempting to voice my silence into spoken word. I have a scar. The aftermath of wounds, X marks the spot, the treasure being the knowledge that your body beat back the invader. But what do you do when you can't find the wound to see the scar? Not all wounds can be marked or cared for by the loving adhesive embrace of a band-aid. The military doesn't break everyone, but it usually leaves a scar somewhere. We soldiers, we sacrifice our civil rights like freedom of speech and doing as we please. We all have our own personal reasons, but the irony is we do it dying, defending, fighting for your freedoms. In exchange, we gain goods and opportunities, but neither the recruiter nor the contract conveyed the complexity of the price we would pay. So now I'm trying to raise my voice above a whisper, unable to yell past unidentified anguish. Politicians may pull us puppets from the theater of their war, but the battle in our soul wages on, fighting concepts like survivor's guilt, an oxymoron. Some of us drink to drown the damage we cannot find. We fill the emptiness with smoke, coke, and wine, trying to stifle the subtle siren of fallen friends. Our sanity is the front line. We are grenades, ready to explode. We come home locked, loaded, still doing what we were trained to do. Sometimes family gets caught in the crosshairs. We are not monsters. We are mortars, landmines, M16s. Somebody forgot to remove my firing pin. Some of us escaped the job of living, painting our own pink slips on walls, brushstroked by bullets, revolved, chambered, and swallowed. Because it's got to be better than the pills the VA pushes. Unable to push past the pain, war always leaves a stain, and not all of us can sustain past the imperceptible pain. I want to talk, but it hurts. And I know there's somebody out there willing to listen, but it hurts. Physically. Like fist grip sternum, cardiac clutch, crushed if I dare to conversate what I've seen. It's like my pain is classified and nobody has clearance. If I dare to speak, anxiety attacks like snipers and IEDs. I want to talk, but it hurts. And I know somebody's out there willing to listen, but it hurts. I wonder what would happen if I run my car into this tree. Would it hurt? So we eat pills or shotguns because the memories we swallowed have soured our stomachs. Celexa and Prozac protect us like seatbelts, Kevlar and blankets, keeping us restrained, untouchable, and it feels good in here. And I like not giving a damn. And it bothers me that I don't give a damn, but I don't really give a damn.
Come on.
Because without it, I am the camel's back. 3 straws beyond my breaking point, and if I don't keep the carnage chemically contained and bottle the pain, it will spill all over everyone I love. And unlike them, I signed up for this.
Man, I love hearing this poem. There are so many times where I hear this and just that I want to talk but it hurts part gets to me. So that's one thing that I really think has stuck out to me in this poem is this use of repetition to convey how frustrating and how kind of ultimately breaking it is to be able to be in this place where you can literally you go and you tell someone about it and it hurts. You don't tell anybody about it, it hurts. Like there's nothing you can do to overcome how difficult this scenario is. And you know that's like palpable. And the way that he tells the story, you can literally feel the anguish of literally having nowhere to go, not family, not like counselors, not like your job or any other other people outside of the military can really understand this.
Or if they're there, it still hurts to talk about it.
Yeah, and even if you are talking about it, it's still that pain that is very alive in you. And so that's so powerful. That's the other point that I wanted to communicate to you is that I've never been in the military, but to hear this poem, there's something really deep here that's actually very relatable to anybody can relate to having something inside of you that's you want to tell other people, but it hurts to actually express that, or you don't tell other people because you're afraid to, and that hurts itself too. It's this cycle that doesn't really get anybody until you get to this breaking point where you start considering things like, if I crash this car into this tree, would it hurt? That's so powerful, and that's like something like, you know, Christopher Michael is so brilliant at being able to create these really impactful poems and have them be relatable.
Yeah, I think that is one of the reasons why he's gotten I've heard a lot of really good feedback about this poem at Austin Poetry Slam. I've had friends come who have never been to a slam before, and they heard Christopher Michael do this poem, and like that's the only poem that they remember from the whole night. So
yeah, and that's a young crowd. I mean, you know, there's probably very few people that are actually in the military in that crowd, and to walk away remembering that poem is huge.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he did this one at Texas Grand Slam as well, and
amazing.
So, I mean, it's obviously a very beautiful poem, very painful. How do you live in a world, like when you have this agony inside of you, how do you relate? How do you deal with it? It's a really good question. I don't have an answer to. One of the lines that always sticks out to me is when he says, "My pain is classified, but nobody has clearance."
That's just, I mean, that's relatable on a whole other level, but
right.
You know, that beautiful metaphor for the military, for like having something like that communicate his like further like inclusion in himself and not being able to express how he really feels, having it be classified, like that's huge. That is an attention drawing line, but it's also very, very true and relatable.
Yeah. And I think the difference between his pain, so it's very relatable, but then at the end of the poem he says, "But unlike everybody else, I signed up for this shit." So, yeah,
you know,
beautiful.
kind of distinguishing the line. Yeah, there's so many levels to this poem. I'd encourage you, just go listen to it again. Every time I hear it, there's something new that I like get from it. It's one of those poems that really impacts you and gets you to think, and I think the best poets can do that. So kudos to Christopher Michael for being the feature this week, and an amazing poet and poem. That'll do it for this week. Any announcements for...
Come see Ebony Stewart tonight.
Yeah, she's going to feature tonight at Austin Poetry Slam. Get there by 8 so you can get a seat. And that'll do it. Stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe. Poets, send us your poems to shutupandpoetry@gmail.com, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Shut up. In poetry.